In this video we'll be traveling on board of a first generation Railjet train between Budapest, the capital of Hungary, via Vienna, the capital of Austria, and Salzburg, to Munich, Germany's third largest city. The train is by far the best way to travel on this route. I'll show you how it is in this video. Join us on this Railjet from Budapest, the capital of Hungary, via Vienna, the capital of Austria, and Salzburg in Austria, to Munich in the south of Germany. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. A couple of days before, we arrived in Budapest by train from Warsaw in Poland. We took a train that passed through a part of Czechia and also Slovakia, calling for example Ostrava and also the Slovak capital Bratislava. That train actually arrived at another station as where we will depart from today. Within Budapest you find 3 main terminal stations. So please check what station your train is departing from if you have a long distance train or any train from here. Within Budapest you find a good metro system. There are 3 lines that take you everywhere, and you will find the oldest metro line of continental Europe here in Budapest. And apart from that, the tram is a very good way of getting around. Well, maybe not this Lego tram, but the iconic yellow trams you can find all over Budapest. Some of them are a little bit more old-fashioned, but you find some more modern and also easy accessible trams around here as well. One of the famous sights of Budapest is the parliament. You know, in Hungary they have this clown as prime minister. Well, I'm not digging into that, I think I made my point. Something I really like in Budapest are the thermal baths. I think we went to one of the most popular ones, and there's a huge outside area. But the inside area is also really big. It really surprised me on how big this all is. Anyway, this is not a city guide about Budapest. Budapest is a really nice city to visit, although I really have to say that it's really touristic, so keep this in mind. Today our train departs from the railway station of Budapest Keleti. This is, out of the 3 major terminal railway stations, the biggest and most important one. Most international trains do depart or arrive here. Although Railjet, what is a commercial railway company that is operating trains between Budapest via Vienna to Prague, uses Budapest Daily railway station, what's on the other side of the river, and Budapest Nyugati railway station is mainly being used for long distance trains towards Slovakia and the Czech Republic. But there are some exceptions when it comes to this as well, so don't take this too black and white. Just check where your train departs from. Anyway, in this video we'll be featuring Budapest Keleti railway station, the major intercity railway station in the Hungarian capital of Budapest. Around the railway station there is a small spot, a little bit hidden actually, where you find some trams as well. However, I think the metro is by far the best way to go from and to Budapest Keleti railway station. You'll find 2 lines that are going here. Around the railway station you find some fast food places, and you can basically bypass the busy roads here with some underground passages. Around the railway station there are lots of bus stops. Well, apart from the metro, that's also a very obvious way to go from or to this station. Our hotel was also located right next to this station. Within the parking garage of our hotel there's also a car rental company, and the front desk was basically located within the hotel lobby. We were staying in the intercity hotel, which was actually really good. Pretty often if you stay within intercity hotels, and mainly within Germany, public transportation for the city where you're staying is also included. That was not the case over here in Budapest. Nevertheless, we had a good stay here, and even though it's a rather big hotel, it's a nice hotel. Well, I think you get it for around the railway station. For now, let's head into this railway station where our train departs from today. Budapest Keleti is a terminal railway station, what basically means that the tracks do stop here. However, this doesn't mean that this is always the final destination or the starting point for trains. There are lots of trains that will just go here along a longer railway journey, for example between Romania and Austria. There are a total of 13 tracks and 7 platforms. You also find something at the underground section. I will show you all in a bit. At the front of the railway station there are lots of vending machines where you can buy train tickets. And if you go down there's also a staffed ticket counter, I'll show you in a bit. Around this area of the main concourse there are some shops as well. Even though the amount of shops for a railway station of this size is not that impressive. Obviously some spots where you can leave your luggage or here as well. From and to here you will also find sleeper trains. Actually all sleeper trains from and to here are international trains. That's not that crazy because Budapest is not that big. What way to go to for what platforms have been marked crystal clear within this station. For passengers traveling in first class or in the sleeping carriages on board of the sleeper trains, there's also a lounge you can use. I went here once when I took a train from here to Berlin that was on board of a sleeper train, and the lounge is actually really nice. At one of the sides you find this other concourse where there are some vending machines and places where you can wait for your train. Because our hotel was next to the railway station, I also went here at night to film a little bit. And when I was filming I noticed this old classical train coming in. Well, this is a private company that has some really expensive trips you can make by train as well, but if you have the money to spend, it can be really nice. Something that was a bit ironical though at the moment I recorded this, that specific train came in at the platform opposite from the train that went to Kiev. I mean, a very luxury train opposite from a train that is going into a country that is at war. Well, this is the sleeper train to Kiev. The wheels will be changed at the border and the locomotive that pulls this train out will only go as far as the border with Hungary and Ukraine. Some other sleeper trains, like for example this one that is heading to Bucharest in Romania, is coming in as well at the moment I recorded the departure of the sleeper train to Ukraine. And of course you find lots of regional trains from and to here as well. At the front of the railway station, at the main concourse, you find this big screen that will host information about all departing trains. And at the specific platforms where the trains do depart from, you'll find more detailed route information about the first upcoming departure from that platform. You also find a change office over here where you can change money. And pretty much always when I just only look at this and show some, well, not really interest, I'm getting approached by someone who asks if I want to change money. Well, my advice is to never ever change money on the street. These are pretty often scams. They might give you fake money. It's very well known that these people will use Belarusian rubles that are worth nothing. And also, well, they might give you a worse rate than you might think at first. When I looked at the change office alone, the guy that was standing right next to it approached me. Well, I don't necessarily say that he's a scammer, but at the moment you spend all your day standing in front of a change office and approaching tourists who only look at the change office if they want to change money, that's at least very suspicious to me. Personally, I never had cash money when I was in Hungary. I could do everything by card. Anyway, at the other side of the railway station, also at the side where you find the change office, you find this area over here, and this is just beautiful. The previous time when I featured this station, most railway related services for international passengers were located along this hallway over here. There were some ticket counters, but now this was all closed. Well, when it comes to that, you don't have to worry because you still find staffed ticket counters, but they're just on another location right now. So let's move there, and basically I need to go back to the main concourse for this and go to the underground section, where you also find the entrance to the metro. From and to here you do find elevators, escalators, and of course there are also stairs. The last time when I was here, they were refurbishing this part over here, so basically the entrance to here. Over here at the underground section there are some more toilets, more vending machines for tickets, and some more lockers. Apart from that, there are several screens that will host information about local and also domestic public transportation. If we move to the other side from where we are right now, of the staircase at least where I came down with, you will find something that's being advertised as customer center, but basically a railway information point, and also where you can buy tickets. Although the infrastructure to buy your tickets online is rather good as well. Personally, I don't really like the user interface of the Hungarian state-owned railway company, their website. But you can also buy tickets via the Germans and the Austrians along this route. I'll tell you a little bit more when I show you some views from the train about this. Over here you also find an information and ticket point for the very regional public transportation, so basically within Budapest. And from this point you also find access to the underground, so the metro. Also what way to go to for what bus lines and what tram lines have been marked okayish around here. In the underground section that's located right at the front of the railway station, right under the square, there are some shops as well, but for the rest it's not that special. Something that can be good to know is that you find lots of entrance and exit numbers from and to this underground section. I hope you like this video so far. If you do so, or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling. Well, this is definitely both. Then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. If you have some questions, feedback, comments, let me know in the comment section. And for now, let's just continue with this video. For now, let's take a close look on today's route. Our train starts in Budapest in Hungary, and we'll go with some stops along the way to Vienna, the capital of Austria. From there on, the train continues to Salzburg, what is also in Austria and close to the border with Germany. From Salzburg, our train continues to Munich in Germany, what is the terminal station for our train today. We cover around 600 kilometers and have a travel time of 6 hours and 45 minutes more or less. Therefore, this is not the fastest train. Although, if you consider the total travel time and the length, the train is still a very obvious way to travel between these cities. And especially if you take a close look on the environmental impact if you travel by train, car or plane on this route. Also take into account that if you travel by train, you go from city center to city center, so you don't have hidden travel times like going from or to the airport. If you take the train, you just take a seat in the city center of Budapest and you can leave your seat at the city center of Munich. Although you can also walk around in the train a bit, for example to the dining car. I'll get back to that later on. At the moment we made this journey, it was one of the shortest days of the year. And we had an early train, so it wasn't fully daylight yet at the moment we walked to the station. At the moment I'm filming these trip reports, my first priority is always to find a seat first before I film the train. So the train was already standing at the platform, we went to our reserved seat, and from that moment on I started to film the interior. Before I show you the train, let's have a close look on the map for the Railjet trains. You can find these trains within Austria obviously. However, these trains do also go to Hungary, like our train, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany, Italy and Switzerland. Most Railjet trains are being operated by the Austrian state-owned railway company ÖBB, just like our train today, but you also find some Railjet trains that are being operated by the Czech state-owned railway company České dráhy. Those Railjet trains are blue. For the Austrian Railjet trains, you find several versions of them, and today we'll be traveling on board of the oldest generation, or the first generation. These are locomotive haul trains that do have a top speed of 230 km per hour. On the section between Vienna and Salzburg, this train will go also along this top speed. There are 3 different comfort categories or classes on board of these trains. Obviously the biggest capacity can be found in standard class, but they don't call it standard class. It's called second class, and within Railjet it's called economy. At the side near the entrance doors, it's clearly marked what class is where, and also what zones are where have been marked crystal clear, like for example the silence area, the family area, you name it. Screens, that are digital screens by the way, at the side of the train do host specific information like the specific carriage number, the train number, the final destination, stops along the way, you name it. Between the second class and the first class you will find the dining car. I really like dining cars. And then you will find the first class. The biggest part of the first class is just mentioned as first class, and there's also a small section that's called business class. Well, the business class on these older Railjet trains is okay, but on the newer Railjet trains, I wouldn't travel in that, to be honest. Even though these trains do not provide barrier-free access, if you're traveling in a wheelchair, for example, there is a lift available to lift people from the platform into the train or the other way around. What is absolutely great, because I think traveling should be easy for everybody. As far as I know, you need to request assistance for this, so please keep this in mind. I don't know the exact rules when it comes to this, but you can look it up on the website for the railway companies. For now, let's do a train tour, and I will start off in the second class, or as they call it here, economy. These are long distance trains, so you do find a lot of space for luggage. The overhead luggage racks, special luggage racks within the open compartment, but don't miss out, at the moment there are backends of the seats right next to each other. This is perfect for luggage as well. I see a lot of people not utilizing this. And I'm saying this in basically every video. That doesn't count only for this train, but for trains in general. Screens at the vestibules do host route information, and you can find these screens everywhere in the train. Also at the ceiling. Special zones have been marked crystal clear within these trains, like here, for example, the quiet area. This has been marked crystal clear at the moment you walk through the train, at the doors at the moment you enter these carriages, but also at the headrests. The seats do come in a combination of airline style seats and seats facing each other, and at the moment the seats do face each other, there is a bigger table between the seats. I'll do a seat review later on in the video. This here is another carriage, and this doesn't have a specific category, so it's not a quiet area, it's not a family area, it's just the standard class, or once again as they call it here, economy or second class. Traveling by train with kids is fun, at least I really liked it when I was a kid. And for kids you do find a special family area over here as well. There's something like a small cinema over here. I don't know if this is good if you want to reduce screen time, but it's there. And the tables between the seats do have some patterns for board games over here. Something you see more often on trains, but a simple way to keep kids entertained during the ride. Also on the headrests it has been clearly marked that this is the family area. Now let it be no surprise that this is not a silence area. Near the family area there's also a little bit more space to put a buggy, for example. Close to the family area you find a slightly different toilet, what is way more playful. And if you need to swap diapers of the little kid, well, you can do that as well with this diaper changing facility on board these trains in these toilets. You won't find this at all toilets though. Now let's move to the other end on the carriage, where you also find the family area, to the bike area. If you're traveling with a bike on board of these trains, that's possible, but a bike reservation is obligated. Some seats do come automatically as a seat reservation if you reserve your bike. And these are the numbers for the bikes. You need to hang your bike over here. The seats for passengers traveling with the bike have been marked on the headrest as well, with basically saying seat area for people traveling with their bike. Now let's do a seat review of the airline style seats you find most on board of these trains. There's a small tray table in the front of you can fold out, and the amount of legroom is very reasonable. I have to add up to this, I'm quite a tall boy. Reading lights are located within the luggage racks, and all windows in all classes, by the way, do have a sunscreen on board of these trains. The seats in second class are not reclinable, but the amount of legroom is quite okay, to be honest. I have to add up to this, I'm rather tall. In second class is one power socket per 2 seats available, and it's located right between the seats. The seat numbers are located in the luggage racks, or basically below the luggage racks, and right next to the seat numbers there's a digital display that will indicate from where to where a seat has been reserved. And these were our seats for today. The screens throughout the train at the ceiling, but also at the vestibules, do host route information in German, English, and for this train also in Hungarian. These screens can be found all over the train. This here is the first class that comes in a 2x1 configuration. At the moment you move through the train, it has been clearly marked in what classes you are, and at the doors it will also mention first. There is an information point as well in this train, and that's in the carriage, where you will also find the dining car. Close to there there's also this bigger accessible toilet, and this toilet can also be used as a diaper changing facility if you're traveling with a little baby. And I like the wallpapers. It almost feels like you're doing your business in the middle of the nature. Let it be no surprise that close to this area within the first class you find the accessible area, and that's right over here. You have way more space over here, and for traveling in a wheelchair I think this is pretty good. Right next to this area you will also find the dining car, but I'll get there in a bit. First, let's move on to the part of the first class where I just came from. Pass the information point here on the left and go to the other side of the train. Over here you find the biggest area of the first class, what comes once again in a 2x1 configuration. These are long distance trains, so for luggage you obviously don't only have the overhead luggage racks, but you find dedicated luggage racks throughout the train as well. Now let's do a seat tour, and this seat was not occupied yet because it was reserved from Vienna only to Salzburg. You do have more leg room obviously in first class. There's a footrest, a small magazine rack, and obviously you can adjust the footrest as well. Just like in standard class, for the airline style seats at least, there is a tray table in the seat in front of you, what is slightly bigger in first class than in second class. That's basically it. For the rest you have the same facilities as in second class, but it's just a bit more spacious and it feels a bit more luxury. Well, don't miss out on the reading light like in second class as well, the sunscreens like everywhere in the train. Well, I think you get it. Within first class there's also a quiet zone, but it's not that spacious, for obvious reasons. If we move a little bit more to the other side, we get out here in the business class, and business class gives you very relaxed seats. And I like them in a way. However, most of these seats do come in a kind of compartments, and I don't like that. Especially, I'm a rather tall boy, and I feel like in these compartments you might bump into the legs of the person sitting maybe sideways opposite from you a little bit too easy. So I don't know, if I have the seats that are coming in the airline style composition in business class, I think I like this, but otherwise I rather skip this. Let's do another regular toilet review, and this was the toilet in business class. It's basically the same as the rest of the toilets. For business class you pay an additional €15 on top of a regular first class ticket, no matter what ticket you have. Also Interrail or Eurail is valid for this. I have one video where I traveled on business class as well on board of these trains. That was from Villach to Munich. You can check it out in the description of this video. Apart from that, in business class you also get a little bit extra, like a free drink from the dining car, and you will be served at your seat. Now let's head back to the area between the first and the second class, and that is the dining car. And I just really like dining cars on board of the trains. I mean, there's something magical about that. This also has been marked crystal clear at the doors at the moment you move through the train as restaurants. Well, even though we went here, I didn't put it that well on camera what we had for the lunch, but we had some nice food here. In general you can pay by card in these dining cars as well, and the seats within the dining cars are in general rather popular, so it might be a little bit busy and there's not always a guarantee you can have a seat over here, so take this in account. But thank goodness, pretty often you can take things to your seat as well. And even though you can pay by card, just bring some cash money as well, just in case. Sometimes the card payment machine isn't working. Well, you never know. The menu on the board of the dining car is seasonably. Free Wi-Fi is available, and this doesn't just link your mobile device to an online connection, but you also get an onboard entertainment and infotainment system with live route information, some magazines, and well, the menu of the dining car for example, so it's quite a lot. For tickets. The tickets for these trains can be booked via the Hungarian state-owned railway company, Austrian state-owned railway company and German state-owned railway company. It also depends where your final destination or your starting point is, where it's best to book your tickets, and it might be interesting to compare different prices. If you book via the Hungarian state-owned railway company, you can book tickets from and to Hungary obviously. Via the Austrian state-owned railway company you cannot book tickets through Austria. But you can book the tickets from Austria to Austria, obviously. And via the German state-owned railway company you can book tickets from Hungary to Germany, but even beyond that as well. The same thing counts, by the way, for the Hungarian state-owned railway company. Personally, I really like Trainline for this reason. At least the Austrian and the German state-owned railway companies, their booking website is linked to their booking website as well. So if you're looking for train tickets via their website, you at least have two different fares, and then the cheapest of these two fares will be automatically selected. A link to the Trainline website can be found in the description of this video, by the way, and that's an affiliate link. I really appreciate it if you used that, also to support this channel. But if you're really good at this, I just really advise you to look up the different fares via these 3 state-owned railway companies and to look up what's best for you, also in terms of, well, changing possibilities and, well, the price in general. There are a lot of things you can take in account for this. For now, I'll just show you the views I had from the train along this route on this grey winter day. This is not the most scenic route, I have to say, but it's definitely not a route I would consider as ugly. Although, if there would be a little bit better weather, I think it will be way more scenic in general, but that's just the overall experience. For now, just sit back, relax and enjoy the ride, and I'll get back to you at the very end of this video.
That's it for this video. I forgot to do the outro when I was at the spot. So I'm doing it right now after I took the next train. I love this environment. Really been a long time since I skied. Anyway, I hope you liked this video or this has been helpful to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you have some questions, feedback, comments, let me know in the comment section. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. before we really end up this video, one last thing.
Other trip reports can be found on this channel, and if you subscribe and especially if you hit the bell icon, you will be notified if there will be new videos posted. Apart from that, in the description of this video you find a link to a map, and on this map you can find all videos as well, but then on a map. See you on the next video.